see, when you speak of a shift, you suggest that you are expecting a big experience to happen, something that you can say, there was a shift from A to B. In other words, you're expecting an objective experience, and you're a little frustrated because you've had what seemed to be mini shifts, and they turned out to be temporary. But then you describe something that is much less easy to describe. You say something is relaxing, but you don't know what it is that's relaxing. And then you describe that in retrospect you noticed that for some time you haven't suffered.
Yes. Yeah.
So the shift has taken place so quietly that you didn't notice it, and therefore you're thinking, it hasn't happened because I didn't have this explosive shift from A to B. But you describe the evidence of the shift rather than the shift itself. And in fact, it's much more trustworthy when we don't notice the shift, because then we can't claim anything. But you can claim the evidence of the shift, which is much more important, which is suffering has left me. I don't know how it left me. I don't know when it left me. I don't know why it left me. But I just noticed when I look back, I haven't suffered for 3 months. Something must have happened. I don't know what that was, but whatever it is, it had the effect that I was seeking, which is called peace, or the absence of suffering. So it's like a headache. A headache, you can't notice the shift from a headache to a headache-free state. You can't say, there it's gone. It happened. But when the evening comes, you think, that's funny, I woke up with a headache this morning, and at some time it left. I haven't had a headache all afternoon. So your headache has left you. There was a shift from the headache to the non-headache, but you couldn't claim or name or describe that shift. You couldn't say, it happened to me, or I went through it, or it happened on the 28th of April. And it's much safer that way.
Safer.
Much safer, because you can't claim any particular experience. In other words, the peace of your true nature doesn't appear to you as a marvelous experience that you have one day. It creeps up slowly in the background and impresses itself upon you without your even recognizing it to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's strange.
Yes. But it is that peace, that absence of suffering, that is the real hallmark of this understanding. It's not a marvelous enlightenment experience. Remember Shunryo Suzuki, who was asked by one of his students why he never spoke of his enlightenment experience, and his wife, who was sitting at the back of the hall, stood up and said, because he never had one. So, in fact, even the so-called enlightenment stories are not stories of enlightenment. Enlightenment is not something that takes place in time or space. It cannot be remembered or talked about. They are stories about the effect that this recognition had on the body-mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are, if it happens in a very dramatic way, all in one go, that they make good stories, and I don't mean that disparagingly, that there is something there. There was a terrific effect on the body-mind from one moment to another. Ramana Maharshi, Eckhart Tolle, their stories are, there's something to talk about. But for the vast majority of people, it doesn't happen like that. The effect on the body-mind for most people is gradual. Exactly as you describe, it is a gradual relaxation. The contraction of the separate self, in response to this recognition, it softens and it opens and it leaves us in peace or without suffering. but there's not much to say about it.
Yeah.
All you could say about it was that it's a sort of relaxation, and then later you described the absence of suffering. What more do you want than the absence of suffering? What is there more to want? The absence of suffering is called happiness or peace. Doesn't mean to say you'll walk around with a broad smile on your face all the time. Peace is the kind of happiness at rest. It's just a feeling of ease, a feeling of openness, a feeling of connectedness, a feeling that nothing is missing. So I would trust this absence of suffering and this relaxation, and not feel that you have missed something because you haven't had the big experience, the shift that you always thought would happen.
Yeah.
And just trust that peace and sink more and more deeply into it.
Yeah, I'm out of control. I can't do it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
thanks.